Welcome to this month's DIY Crafternoon, and we are going to be making yarn wall hangings. I have it mostly assembled, but I'm going to show you how to make one of the tassels and how to attach it onto the stick. So if you got the chance to pick up the craft kit at the library, in the craft kit you will have gotten a stick, some hemp twine, paper towel tube, and you will have gotten to choose 2 skeins of yarn. So it's pretty simple. The first thing we're going to do is make our tassel. So you're going to take your paper towel tube and, keeping the cut end at the bottom, you're just going to wrap it around the paper towel tube. It's not that hard. I will get it here. You're just going to start wrapping it around the paper towel tube. And I would say, and this is kind of a guesstimate, and it's also up to you how thick you want your tassels or how thin you want your tassels, but I used about a little over a third of a skein of yarn for each tassel. So with the 2 skeins of yarn that you picked out at the library, you should have plenty to make 5 tassels. You're going to want to make 5 tassels. Or you could make 7 if you wanted them thinner, but you definitely want to make an odd number of tassels, not an even number of tassels, because of the way we're going to hang them. So this is the tedious part of the craft, but it goes by pretty quick. And if you're making this at home and you didn't pick up a craft kit, like I said, about 2 skeins of yarn should be good. You can go find a stick somewhere. I suppose you could also use a wooden dowel, although it doesn't look as natural. But you could definitely still use a wooden dowel. And if you don't have hemp twine, you could totally still just use yarn for that piece as well. So I'm going to keep going because I'm about maybe halfway there. You can kind of see it's not super thick. So I'm going to just keep going and keep wrapping because I want it to be nice and thick. You could also use like a hemp yarn, which is, or a hemp, like a thin hemp rope. For this part too, that would be an even more natural look than the yarn for this part of the craft. One thing about wrapping it around the paper towel tube, and I did only put 1 tube in everybody's kit, but it kind of gets crushed when you're wrapping it around. So you might need to save some paper towel tubes at home too. Oh, I'm getting down to the end of my yarn here. Okay, I think I'm going to stop. So I'm going to cut it, and then I am going to cut the ends of it. So I'm going to cut one end of it. My scissors are not the best scissors in the world. A really sharp scissors will cut it really quick. Okay, and then you're going to take your paper towel tube out. You want to kind of hold it nice and tight, making the top of your tassel. This is the challenging part here. Okay, and you can always push in the pieces of yarn that come out or fix it once you've got it tied. So we've got the top of our tassel. We're going to take another length of yarn and we're going to wrap it around. going to tie it off, and you want to make sure you're tying it off on the back of your tassel. You don't want the tie showing. Okay, cut off excess. Okay, and then this is the part where you kind of have to zhuzh your tassel. Kind of comb it with your hands a little. And I've got all these kind of stray ones, so I pull them out to see if I can see the pieces that are kind of out, and I pull them in, or I just tuck it in like that. They're not going to be perfect. The yarn is a bit hard to work with when it comes to making the tassel, but you can always just kind of push it on the inside, kind of keep messing around with it until it is to your liking. There, there's that one. So we have our tassel. I'm going to cut off the ends that are not even. Like I said, a nice sharp scissors works far better than this one that I have here. Okay. So now you're going to make, like I said, you're going to make 5 of those tassels. You can make them all one color. You can make them a couple different colors. I chose to make mine 3 different colors. I have white, tan, like a mustard color. So I have to put my last tassel on. And hopefully you guys can see that goes shorter to longer, and then we're going to go back up to shorter. So we have to kind of match this last tassel with the first tassel. So in the written instructions in the kit, my suggestion was, because you get a huge long thing of hemp, was to make the first hemp length about 1.5 feet, and then add another 6 inches onto the second one, and another 6 inches onto the middle one, and then go backwards. So then take the 4th one and make that 6 inches less, and we're going to go back to about 1.5 feet with this last one. So I'm guesstimating, because I didn't bring a ruler. But you know what? I'm going to cut it a little longer so that if I have to cut it and restring it, it's not a problem. Okay. So now you're going to put your tassel, excuse me, on the stick. So the first thing you're going to do is cut about, like I said, 1.5 feet of twine. I made mine a little bit longer. Then you're going to fold it in half, and with the looped end, you're going to make a knot. Like, there we go. Like so. Okay? Then you're going to take your stick and you're going to put the 2 ends through the loop around your stick. Okay, like so. Okay, now we're going to take these 2 loose ends and we're going to put one end through our tassel. And if your tassel is really tight, it can be hard to find the end of it. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to tie this into a knot. And I want to make sure that it's the right length. So I'll set everything out nice and straight. And I'm going to kind of eyeball it where I put my knot. And like I said, you can always redo your knot if it's not quite right. because we want it to be the same length as this first one. So before I put it through, yep, I have to make it a little bit shorter. So I'm just gonna unknot it and tie it a little shorter. That's probably too short. Okay, oh, that's pretty good. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off the excess. I'm gonna make sure that my twine is really tightly knotted, cut off the excess twine here. And then we're gonna hide that knot in your tassel head. And then we're gonna stretch it out to pull it really nice and tight. Okay, so there we go. So we have, this guy got kind of goofy. There we go. Okay. So, and you can kind of move them around to space them out the way you want them. I have them, actually this guy needs to move a little further, but I have them pretty close, but you could do them further apart. It's really up to your taste and what you like. And of course it looks better against a wall than against me, but so there is how it will look. And then the last thing you do with the twine that you have left over is you just tie it to make a hanger for your wall hanging. So there it is. That is this week's DIY craft. I hope you guys have fun making this very trendy bohemian yarn wall hanging. And next month in September, we are going to be making woven apple magnets, or ornaments, excuse me, they're going to be ornaments. So we're going to be making them out of a mason jar lid. It's going to be really cool. So I hope you guys will join us. This next month, we will be starting an option of in-person Crafternoons. So if you're interested in doing this in person, you can register online at our website, www.franklinpubliclibrary.org, or you can also check out our Facebook page and register online that way. You can call the library at 414-425-8214, or you can always come in and register. We will still be doing the instructional videos here on Facebook and having craft kits for everyone to pick up as well. So we're going to have both of those options for you guys. So I look forward to next month, and we'll see how everything goes, and happy crafting.